Welcome back to our channel today. Today we are talking about how putting salt in your shoes could quietly change your life forever, an ancient perspective. What if I told you that something as humble and ordinary as salt, the same salt sitting quietly in your kitchen, holds the potential to ground your mind, lift your spirit, and shift the course of your day in a way you never expected? It might sound far-fetched at first, a curious little life hack, maybe even a myth, but throughout human history, salt has never just been a seasoning. It has always carried a kind of quiet power, both practical and deeply spiritual. And today, we're going to explore one of the simplest, yet most surprisingly transformative practices connected to it, placing salt in your shoes. Yes, in your shoes. Beneath your feet, where you walk, where you stand, where you carry the weight of the world. This isn't just a quirky trick or an old wives' tale. This is a practice rooted in ancient wisdom, in the belief that the earth's simplest elements can influence the unseen energy of our lives. It is about purification, grounding, spiritual clarity, and perhaps most of all, reconnection with your inner self. Let us begin by understanding the deeper symbolism of salt. Salt is one of the most essential and enduring elements known to humankind. For thousands of years, it has been used not only to preserve food but also to preserve energy, intention, and sanctity. Ancient civilizations, from the Egyptians to the Romans, from Eastern philosophies to tribal traditions, held salt in the highest regard. It was considered sacred, a protector, a cleanser, a symbol of purity, permanence, and truth. People used salt to ward off evil, purify sacred spaces, and maintain spiritual balance. And for good reason. Salt is a natural crystal formed by the earth. It carries structure, memory, vibration. It grounds, it absorbs, it stabilizes. Now, consider the symbolism of shoes. Your shoes are the boundary between your body and the earth. They carry you through your struggles and triumphs, through the noise of modern life, through moments of fear and celebration. Your feet, whether you realize it or not, are the connection point between your spirit and the ground you walk on every day. When we place salt in our shoes, we are doing more than just engaging in a curious ritual. We are stepping into an ancient form of energetic hygiene. A return to something that our ancestors knew instinctively, that healing often starts from the ground up. Let's go deeper. In today's world, we are constantly surrounded by invisible weight, mental clutter, emotional noise, and energetic imbalance. We are bombarded by information, overstimulated by screens, and often disconnected from our own bodies. Stress becomes normal, fatigue becomes familiar, joy becomes distant. But what if there were small, powerful rituals, practices so simple we overlook them, that could begin to realign us? What if a practice as humble as placing a pinch of salt in your shoes could become the gateway to a calmer, more centered existence? Let me share a story with you. There was a woman named Sarah. A mother, a manager, a caregiver. She spent her days juggling deadlines, family schedules, social obligations, and the quiet ache of exhaustion that never seemed to leave her. She was doing everything, but slowly losing herself in the process. Then one night, while reading an article on ancient energy practices, she stumbled across the concept of putting salt in your shoes. It felt strange, even a little absurd, but something about it called to her. It felt primal, familiar, like something she had forgotten she once knew. So the next morning, she took a small amount of coarse sea salt, sprinkled it into the soles of her most worn shoes, and went on with her day. Something shifted. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't mystical, but it was real. She felt lighter, more steady, her breath deepened, her thoughts slowed down, and over the next few days, that small practice began to bloom into something bigger. She felt more connected to her body, more present with her children, more grounded in conversations. Her stress didn't vanish, but her relationship to it changed. It was no longer in control. That's the silent strength of salt. Now, let's look at the science behind the symbolism. Salt is a natural crystal formed by geological forces over millennia. It has long been associated with grounding energies because of its crystalline structure and its ability to absorb moisture, odors, and even toxins. In energetic traditions, salt is believed to absorb negative vibrations, cleanse emotional residue, and seal one's spiritual boundary. When you walk with salt beneath your feet, you invite that cleansing energy into your own physical and energetic field. You create a barrier, an invisible layer of protection between your soul and the chaos of the external world. Physically, salt can help absorb sweat and moisture, keeping your feet dry and comfortable throughout the day. But more importantly, the sensation of the salt beneath your soles becomes a tactile reminder, a prompt to slow down, to ground yourself, to reconnect with your breath and your body. This is more than superstition. This is ancient consciousness. So how do you begin this ritual? Start with intention. Select a pair of shoes you wear frequently, something you're comfortable in. Coarse sea salt or Himalayan salt works best, but any natural, unprocessed salt will do. Take a small pinch and sprinkle it evenly into each shoe. Not too much, just enough to create a thin, subtle layer. You should feel the texture only slightly as you walk. The goal is not discomfort, but awareness. Once you place the salt, put on your shoes and walk as you normally would. Go to work, run your errands, take your walk, whatever your day involves. But as you move, take small pauses. Notice your feet. Feel the subtle crunch or presence of the salt. Use it as a reminder to breathe deeper, to soften your thoughts, to stay connected to the present. Let it become your anchor. How often you practice this is entirely up to you. Some people prefer to do it daily, as part of their morning ritual. Others do it during particularly stressful times, as a spiritual reset. Some leave the salt in for hours, others for minutes. It's your ritual. Make it your own. Now, let's address the obvious question. Will this change your life overnight? Maybe not, but over time, something happens when we repeat small rituals with sacred intention. These moments compound. They begin to shape our emotional landscape. They remind us that healing doesn't have to be loud. Growth doesn't have to be visible. Change doesn't have to be hard. Sometimes, transformation begins with salt. And sometimes, putting salt in your shoes is not about the salt at all, but about the choice to believe in something again. To believe in your ability to return to center. To clear space. To reclaim peace. Not every ritual is for everyone. That's the beauty of ancient practices. They offer possibilities, not prescriptions. You don't have to believe in crystals, chakras, or energy fields. All you need is the willingness to experiment, to feel, and to honor your own experience. Try it for yourself. Observe the sensations, the shifts, the subtle nudges in your energy. And if it resonates, let it be your new secret ritual. A quiet rebellion against the noise of modern life. A sacred act of self-respect. Because in the end, healing is not always about doing more. Sometimes, it's about remembering the old ways, the ancient ways, the simple ways. And maybe, just maybe, it starts with salt in your shoes. Thank you for walking with me through this forgotten path of wisdom. If this practice speaks to you, I invite you to make it yours. And if it doesn't, let it be a gentle reminder that healing comes in many forms, and the path that calls you is the right one. Until next time, walk gently, walk intentionally, and may every step you take bring you closer to stillness, clarity, and the ancient peace that lives within. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. If you find this video useful, please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on more valuable content. See you in the next video.